Okay, guys. So, this one I'm actually going to do from a pin that Elaine sent me that I saved in the homestead building section of the homesteading board. So, that's what this is from. So here we go. Do-it-yourself strawberry planter made from a pallet. It's from lovelygreens.com. She's right up my alley. She knows exactly what we're going to be trying to do. How to make a better strawberry pallet planter. And there's the picture right there. Alright, step-by-step instructions for how to use a wooden pallet to make a strawberry pallet planter. Use this box-shaped do-it-yourself garden planter to grow a dozen or more strawberry plants at a time. Over the past year, I've come across scores of do-it-yourself pallet projects, some of them intriguing and others not quite there. One that I see time and again is the idea of using a single wooden pallet as a strawberry planter. Filled with soil and with plants inserted in the gaps. I get what they did there. They're usually leaned up against a wall, but sometimes bolted on to keep from tumbling over. I decided that I'd like to have a strawberry pallet planter too, but that I'd come up with a better design. Alright. This piece includes full written and video instructions on how to make a strawberry pallet planter using a single wooden pallet. Once made, you can paint it and use it for years to grow berries in your garden or on the patio. It's a great handmade planter that not only looks great but is functional and inexpensive to make. For this project, you will need a heat-treated wood pallet, a handful of tools, and an afternoon to put it together. Plant it with strawberries in the spring, and by summer you'll be picking fresh berries from your patio. This project also features, she listed her new book called A Woman's Garden, Grow Beautiful Plants and Make Useful Things. I'm delighted to include it as the garden project in the chapter Edible Garden chapter. It also includes chapters on growing skincare plants, dye plants, beginner medicinal herbs, and much more. I'm going to have to look that book up. Strawberry Pallet Planter. Back to that originally strawberry pallet idea, though. A single pallet filled with potting mix and plants is a clever idea and not much work to create. There's that right there. Okay. However, I suspect that a container like that would need constant watering and erosion control, both of which mean more hassle than it might be worth. Still, I was interested in the idea with a gift of 8 pristine wood pallets, so started thinking about alternative designs. Ones that offered increased stability, more soil capacity, and better aesthetics. The strawberry pallet planter I'm about to show you how to build is the final design. I've also shared it in my new book, A Woman's Garden, Grow Beautiful Plants and Make Useful Things. And this is from lovelygreens.com. Use safe pallets for garden projects. First of all, choosing pallets for do-it-yourself projects involves a bit of know-how. You need pallets that are in good condition without rot and which have not been treated with chemical insecticides. And for our house, we're going to have to choose pretty... Yeah, it might take a while to get the pallets that we need, but most people are probably not aware of this, but pallets that cross international borders must be either heat treated or sprayed to stop the spread of foreign pests. Whether you think this is a good idea or not, you certainly do not want pesticide-soaked furniture or objects in your garden, let alone your home. Not only can it kill off insects that eat your crops, but it can indiscriminately kill all the beneficial insects too. And it's really bad for you. There's also the possibility of your plants absorbing these chemicals into their tissues and into your tasty strawberries. To help you find the right type of pallet for your project, I've put together a diagram of what to look for when you spot one. By international law, a pallet must be stamped twice with certain information, which includes whether it's been fumigated. Keep clear of any pallets that have been printed with the letters MB or SF. That's what it looks like right there. I'm going to screenshot that so I have that saved. Okay, pallet size needed for the planter. For this project, you will also need to look for a pallet that has 6 or 9 planks making up its main surface. The reason for this is that the first major step will be in slicing the pallet up into 3 equal-sized pieces. Both 6 and 9 are divisible by 3. If there's such a thing as a pallet with 12 planks, then all the better, because that means you can build an even larger planter. To make a strawberry pallet planter, you'll need a pallet that has spaces between the slats. It's in these spaces that you'll eventually plant your strawberries. If you find a great pallet that doesn't have these spaces, you can still make this excellent pallet planter. How to make a better strawberry planter. The dimensions of my strawberry pallet planters are 47 inches wide, 16 inches across, and 19 inches in height. A full do-it-yourself video. Okay, she included a full do-it-yourself video. Let me see. As above, and written instructions are below. Well, we're going to go through the written instructions. So, you will need the following materials to build your own. 1. A suitable pallet as described. 2. A handsaw or a jigsaw. 3. Hammer and long nails or electric screwdriver, and decking screws. Decking screws are usually the best to use. 4. Personal protective equipment, goggles, work gloves, etc. Optional materials. 1. Heavy-duty splitting wedge and hammer. 2. Sandpaper. 3. Non-toxic paint and paintbrush. Cut the pallet into 3 equal pieces. Trim and remove the excess wood. There's that. Step 1. Cut the pallet into 3 equal pieces. The easiest way to do this is to lay the pallet so that the long planks are in parallel with your own position. If your pallet has 9 planks as mine did, then count over 3 planks, and then saw the wood between the 3rd and 4th planks. Saw right in the middle to keep things easy and ensure that all of your proportions remain correct. Continue another 3 planks and cut again. Remember that you'll have to cut in the exact places on both the front and back of the pallet. Step 2. Trim and remove excess wood pieces. You'll have 3 pieces of pallet by now, all of the same height and width. 2 of the pallets will be formed from the top and bottom and will have chunky blocks securely fixed to them between one of the 3 planks on the front side and the single one left on the other. You'll want to trim off the excess wood jutting up from each one of these wooden blocks. Please refer to the images for steps 1 and 2. Okay. That was right there. Though I chose not to do it in this project, you could also remove that single plank on the back side. If you do this, then you could have a deeper planter. It's up to you. The piece that made up the center part of the pallet also has thick wooden blocks sandwiched between its front side and stubby planks on the other side. Pull these blocks and stubby planks off, but keep them in reserve. You'll need them to complete the project. There are nails sticking up after removing these pieces, and either hammer them flat or remove them completely. Step 3. Creating the planter box. The goal of this step is to create the 3 main sides of the container. The 2 end pieces will be the sides of your planter, and the middle pieces is the bottom. Attach the 2 end pieces to the middle part of the pallet by screwing it in from the bottom of the middle piece. This is probably the most awkward step and might be easier with 2 people. Though the image shows the structure the right way up, it's actually easier to flip it over in order to fix the bottom piece to the sides. I get that. You'll want to screw or nail the bottom piece into the wooden blocks that's still attached to the side pieces. I understand exactly what she's talking about. Okay. I'll show you what she has for step 3. That's what it looks like on step 3. Step 4. Preparing wood to create the feet and final 2 sides. You should have 3 to 4 of these pieces of plank that were removed from the back of the pallet. Remove the spacer blocks from them. If you'd like to use the spacers to create the feet, if you'd like to use the spacers to create the feet. Too many notifications right now. This is an optional step since it's just as easy to set the pallet planter on bricks. If you don't want to remove them, leave them on as is on the plank since they'll be disguised once attached. I found that you can actually knock them off with a hammer, but if you don't want marks on the spacers, use a splitting wedge to help. Once the spacers are off, you'll be left with several square blocks and short wooden planks. The blocks can be used as feet, and the short planks can be screwed on to form the two short sides of the planter. Oftentimes, there isn't enough wood of the right length to make do with what you have. Alright, so I'll show you step 5. Here's step 4. That's what she's talking about. Step 5. Create the sides of the planter. If you follow the directions in step 1 and sawed in the middle between the long planks, and the little planks left over from step 4 should all be approximately the same length. They will also be the same width, and you need to create the shorter sides of your planter. If your original pallet was the same size as mine, then you'll have 4 of these planks to make up 2 pieces for each side. The bottom planks for each of the shorter sides can be created by reusing the bits of wood you cut off the side pieces in step 2. For a more pleasing and symmetrical effect, line the small side planks up with the planks that form the front and back pieces. Create feet with the wooden spacers removed from the pallet, and there's the picture for that. Alright, I'll show you the picture for step 5. Use the planks to create the sides and blocks for feet. That's what she's talking about. The planks for the sides and the blocks for the feet. Step 6. Add feet to the planter. Although optional, it's a good idea to add feet to your strawberry pallet planter. It keeps the planter elevated, improves drainage, and slows down the process of the bottom rotting. You could also wrap the feet with copper strips to keep slugs and snails from getting up to your strawberries. There are 2 ways that I've added feet to my planters. Using bricks or creating wooden feet from the spacers, remove the pallet. There are 2 ways that I've added feet to my planters. Using bricks or creating wooden feet from the spacers removed from the pallet during the build. Ugh, lost my spot for a second. Attaching the wooden spacers, square blocks as feet, can be a bit tricky. Excuse me. Because of the blocks still inside the planter, it's not easy to drill directly down and into the feet. In the end, I drove very long screws in sideways to attach them to the bottom of the planter. I can foresee some people finding pallets of slightly different sizes to mine and being left with fewer small planks and blocks in the step. It's more likely that you'll end up with 3 of each rather than 4, especially if you're using a smaller pallet. In this case, you'll be cobbling together more scraps to make an additional side piece and have to find a 4th block to use as a last foot. If all else fails, consider placing the planter on 4 or 5 bricks instead of building feet. Alright, and then there's the picture right there showing the feet. Step 6. The strawberry pallet planter is complete. Well, almost. Turn your planter the right way up and have a look at it. Does it feel sturdy? Are the feet wobbly? Are there extra bits of wood sticking up that you could trim back? If you've noticed splinters or areas that feel rough, you could use sandpaper to sand and smooth them down. Once you feel the planter is complete, I recommend painting this non-toxic wood preserver on both the inside and exterior of the planter. It can extend the life of the planter for many years and will not contaminate your soil or food. I'll have to look into that. You may also want to consider using this non-toxic silicone sealant to seal any joints or crevices in the planter. Those are the areas where rot begins, and the sealant helps keep these areas safe. I'll look into that too. Without using these preservers, the strawberry pallet planter will last 3 to 5 years. With the preservers, it can last up to 10 years. Though being wood, it will eventually break down. The first pallet planter I made lasted 3 years, and that was actually okay. It's the perfect amount of time to build a new one and start fresh with new strawberry plants. It's completed. Plant the strawberry pallet planter. To plant the strawberry pallet planter, you'll need to first line the planter, fill it up with good potting mix, and as you do that, you'll plant the strawberry plants. I've made several strawberry planters now and have lined each with a little differently. The first one I lined with scraps of wire along the bottom, then I used straw to keep the growing medium inside. For other planters, I used landscaping fabric or plastic instead of straw. Use whatever you have on hand and wish you use, whatever. The point is to try to stop compost and potting mix from eroding out of the holes between the slats. I've shared more detail on the best way to plant a strawberry pallet planter if you'd like to learn more. Okay, that's a link they've got in there. It includes information on the best mix of materials to fill it with materials to line the planter with. There's also another thing she didn't mention. You can also use that hardware cloth that Doug was talking about, that he puts in his raised garden beds to keep things from digging up through them. So that'll help too. It also goes through the easiest way to plant the strawberry plants between the slats of the planter. Strawberry pallet planter 2 months later. Here's a before and after shot of how my planter looked on the day of construction and how it looks today. Okay. Show you that. There you go. There's also a no tools required do-it-yourself cucumber trellis, and then make this do-it-yourself pallet potting bench. Create a do-it-yourself garden obelisk for climbing plants, and build a simple pallet planter. Alright, so that was it for the one of the pins Elaine sent me on how to make a better strawberry pallet planter. So, I'm going to go ahead and get off from here, and I'll get this up there, and I will see you guys in the next video, which is another pin that Elaine sent me. So, I will see you guys in a few minutes. Remember, do your research, you guys. Check your subscriptions. Like and share the videos. Just remember to do that research, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Bye, guys.